Hi there, Dr. Vicki Lenfer here with the Shift Happens channel. Today, we're going to talk about self-concept. We're going to dig a little deeper and we are going to discover some really cool gems about self-concept. And I'm going to give you a really cool strategy. So you want to stay to the end. And this is an affirmation that I've used and that others have used that have it's really manifested their desires quickly. So before we get into that, always like, share, comment. In fact, put in the comment positive self-talk, and there's a reason for that, right? It deals with that self-concept, right? So, and if you want some coaching, go ahead and contact me at shifthappenslifecoaching@gmail.com. Let's get into it. So shift happens. Think of the title of this channel. It always happens in little shifts, and before you know it, all of a sudden you have your desire. But how do we get there? How do we get from A to Z? That messy middle, we can really play with ourselves, right? Get all entangled in our thoughts, our belief system, and our worthiness, right? So I want to do a quote from Neville Goddard. People are only actors bearing the conversations you have within yourself. I'm going to say that again. People are only actors bearing the conversations you have within yourself. That was from Neville Goddard. So think about it. It is that simple. What we think is often revealed in our 3D. It doesn't have to be verbatim, but it's the idea, the concept of what you're thinking about yourself. It'll show up. And it's always with the three big things. We want love, money, and health, right? So let's say we want to manifest more money a month, and we're kind of battling for, you're starting to shift your identity to be that person that is worthy of having money coming to them with ease and love, right? So you're affirming, you're doing all these things, and you're feeling pretty good. And then all of a sudden, you might encounter something, and it might not even be from a person. It could be you looking at your bank account. It could be just somebody in the grocery store line saying, boy, I just don't have enough money. It seems like my money just goes out the door and it never comes back to me, or something. It might be just some random conversation. It might not even be something with you, but you hear it and you're like, ooh, First of all, there's no need to panic. You can still manifest when you have negative self-talk, all right? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect in your thoughts, your emotions, and everything else. You just need to be aware. The awareness is really big, and then accepting it, acknowledging, accepting it, and then aligning with who you are, right? And so, I think there's different levels to identity and self-concept. And it's not surface, but it's beneath the surface when you want to identify with the person that can have that money, or can have a loving relationship, or can have a perfect health where you feel healthy all the time. You can absolutely have everything you want. But that dialogue you're having with yourself, when you start becoming more aware of it, what I started to do, hey, that's the old person. That's the old identity. I am shifting, because shift happens. I am shifting to that new identity, to the person that always gets what I desire. I am source. Source works through me, as me. And so I just kind of developed some different mantras, and you want to stay to the end, because I'm going to give you one that's really easy. And it's more of a meditation, kind of a thought process. And so I can't wait to tell you about it. But anyway, again, comment in the comments positive self-talk if this is landing with you somewhere. Now, we all have negative self-talk, right? It's being able to manage that negative self-talk and not panicking and going, oh my gosh, now that you're aware of thoughts can create your destiny. Sometimes we have a thought like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm going to have enough money for, rent. Ugh. And you panic because you're like, oh my God, I have that thought. Now, relax. Let that thought go through you. It is just your old self trying to percolate up and going, careful. It's that ego. Sorry, my hair. I get a little ADHD. I can't focus. Anyway, and so you want to be aware of your thoughts, but I don't think you even realize how often your words come out from that thought process. Even just like saying, I'm tired. Gosh, I'm stressed. You're going to be that. So instead of saying, I'm tired, you could say, I'm energized. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money for rent. I have plenty of money coming in. I know everything's taken care of. Everything's taken care of. I'm working. I'm doing everything that needs to be done in the 3D. And therefore, things are going to come to me, And that sounds like a cause effect type of thing. Like you do all the deeds and you're going to get it. Listen, that's not what I was trying to say. It's what I'm saying is you have to kind of talk yourself through this when you have that negative self-talk. Because a lot of times, this negative self-talk, you're like, is it really true? No, it's all in our imagination. And remember, that's manifesting. That's source. God is your imagination, right? And so you want to use that. That is your source. That's your power source. And so when you have these negative thoughts or self-talk, if you continue to have that same storyline, you have not shifted into that person that you ideally want to be, that has that money, that has that love of their life, that has that perfect health, right? And so you want to be aware of that story because remember, thoughts, words, and emotions, that impacts your energy, which impacts your destiny. That's what creates, right? And so you can have that negative self-talk. Don't panic. Be aware of it and start shifting that story. You don't necessarily have to flip it necessarily. You can just let it ride right on through and be like, I am choosing to be the person I want to be, the person that always gets what she wants. And keep it simple like that. You don't have to dig into that story. You don't have to flip that story. You can just say, oh, okay, that felt a little panicky. That felt a little, I'm going to fall off the cliff. And then I say, I am shifting to that ideal self-concept, the person that always gets what she wants. And then you just walk on through life. It could be with money. Oh boy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay for, rent, tuition, and, whatever it is. Listen, we all have a list, right? And so then all of a sudden you're like, that's a panic. That doesn't feel good. You feel it in your body. You're aware of that thought because you feel it in your body. It doesn't feel good. You're panicked. And you kind of get zzz. We want to get to that neutral, natural state. Let that thought, you can even flow a little bit. And you can even play with it. I've done that where I play with it and I'm like, let's see where this is going. Yeah, it's not going to go very far or very well. And so you're like, I'm going to let that go. Take another deep breath and you're like, I am choosing to be the person that always gets what she wants. Now, another thing, here's the strategy. I mean, that is a strategy. I constantly give you strategies, but here's one that you might want to consider trying. And when I say meditate, you don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to even do this whole thing of, okay, 10 breaths, feel it in your body. You don't have to do any of that. If you're in a calm state, your shoulders, your jaw, everything, your stomach's relaxed, everything's kind of relaxed. You're sitting at your desk at work even. You're just kind of like, whew. And then just ask yourself, what if? What if I did have that specific person, the love of my life? What if I did have that house? What if I did have that car? What if I had that perfect health where I'm changing my body and I'm all defined muscle? What if? What would that feel like? And just kind of play with it that way. That's your imagination. When you ask what if, you kind of play with that storyline. You get the feel, you feel it in your body, and make that a muscle memory. That feels good. So revisit the what if strategy throughout the day, all right? So comment in the comments, positive self-talk, right? And as always, if you want coaching, I can always help you. I love helping Listen, you guys are really coming with some great ideas, situations, right? And I love helping you out. Go ahead and contact me at shifthappenslifecoaching@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's get this community going because I learn from you just as much as you learn from me. All right, till next time. Bye-bye.